Dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yup, what's good, original crew, man? We're back today. Another body cam. We got evil white poison's husband to steal $37 million. What did he do? That ain't just a life insurance policy. That gotta be savings, pension. Damn. I gotta say that. Hey, 37 mil? What the?
We'll find out.
Like the other woman, how much she stole? She was trying to steal from her husband. Remember the one that killed her husband? What, Minnesota? Then went to Florida. Well, then killed that woman, and then she was trying to go to Texas.
Yeah.
Damn, 37?
It's a lot.
This is a typo. This got to be a typo. Maybe 37,000 or 370,000. Ain't no way 37 million. Hey, we gonna find out, man. Make sure y'all check out the links in the description box
down below.
You already know where to go. If you want to first support, you gotta do it. Check out down below. Also, if you enjoyed today's visuals,
liking it with a thumbs up.
Cause I ain't no way 37 mil. No way, bro. Let's go. Let's check it out. Let's see what's about. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get it.
He gets his inheritance this afternoon. That's why we're moving. We're going to pay all our bills off that we need to pay off and then take a long vacation.
Bro, look at the house. 37 mil. No. 37 mil?
But how much times you going to say that?
He got it. Like that one gonna set off red flags.
Facts.
You go from this lifestyle to another.
Well, he hasn't even gotten it yet. So, what red flags were? Because she said he gets it this afternoon. So, I'm wondering, did someone call and say they haven't heard from him or something? Or he didn't show up to somewhere or something? Like, I'm wondering.
Let's see. I mean, God.
Yeah, let's see.
He gets his inheritance this afternoon. That's why we're moving. We're going to pay all our bills off that we need to pay off and then take a long vacation.
Less than 24 hours from this footage, Ina Thea-Kanoyer's husband, Steve Riley, was life-flighted to the hospital due to a sudden sickness that immobilized his body. Within an hour of being at the hospital, he would pass away.
He was coming into $37 million. Girl, y'all don't have a already expensive lifestyle. A simple vacation, go buy a 50...
But if you knew that he was coming into some money, regardless of how much the amount is, but if you knew that he was coming into some money, why would you... Why? No, not even just that, but why would you do something to him unless it would have went directly to you if something was to happen?
Yeah,
I don't know how that works.
Probably he got his benefits set up where she's the beneficiary if something happened. That's how typically whoever.
But we'll definitely get like more info. But
that's typically how it works. So say for instance, like we're married, right? If I have any kind of benefits that if I have that set up, a lot of people as they get older do get those type of things set up. So if something comes to me, you know how like your grandma stuff that was coming in for your granddad, she ends up getting that, you know. So a lot of people is set up that way. But my God, if he is coming into 37 million, like the way y'all like it appears, y'all can for a lifetime. Get you some Levi jeans. You ain't got to go out here and live a high-end lifestyle. Get you some Levi jeans. Get you some boots, some real nice boots now.
What are we talking about?
Buy a $600,000 house that looks good. You ain't got to spend the whole 37 mil. That's what I'm saying. Could have went on a little shopping spree. Went to Florida. chill on the beach, or could have went out the country and had a nice little, came back. You ain't got to spend $1 million on a vacation. So what she?
I thought everybody knew. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
What the cop doesn't realize at this time is that Ina is a very good actor, and she knows far more about Steve's sickness than she leads on. You see, Steve was less than an hour away from cashing in a $37 million inheritance payment when he became fatally ill. And as the multi-week investigation would progress, detectives would quickly discover that Steve's death was due to poisoning. Someone had killed him, and everyone close to Steve all had dire needs to claim his newfound fortune by any means necessary.
Well, you coming into money like that, don't tell a single. Sometimes you can't even tell your spouse. Damn.
It was like 20-something million. Best thing you can do is to get on a plane and don't look back.
That's true.
Police department. It's the police department. It's not Chad.
This body cam was recorded the night before Steve Riley's death. Steve and Ina's drunken neighbor had been harassing them and other residents of the neighborhood, so Ina called 911 to de-escalate the situation. What makes this specific footage interesting is not the situation with their drunken neighbor, but rather what Ina would tell police after. Her $37 million inheritance fund that she's just hours away from cashing in.
Sorry.
You thought it was Chad?
Yeah.
Who was
He's been
Chad on
trying to kick in everybody's door.
Who was he
He
on
was
here fighting?
busted to my light. And look at the garbage cans.
Who was he fighting with out here?
My fiance. He went for a walk. Cool down.
Who's your fiance?
Steve Riley.
Steve Riley?
So
They ain't
y'all
even
not even
married.
married. What the fuck she think she was gonna get? He has to claim the money before you.
Okay. What's your name?
I'm Ina.
Okay. Is your fiance hurt at all?
He got gash on his forehead.
Okay. You know, we just want to talk with him too, just to make sure he's all right if possible. There's blood all the way over there. That's good. So what actually happened tonight? What were they fighting over?
Chad was trying to kick in the door.
Just for no reason, or just
drunk. He does that.
where do you think your fiance would have went so we could just get his side of the story real quick?
Oh, I don't know.
So you got a phone on?
No, we don't have a phone until this afternoon.
But this is where Ina reveals something she should.
You know why? What it is? Because he's coming into money. It's his inheritance. She think it's her money, too.
Or did you think he was going to leave you and he was like, let me, like... Because
then,
I don't know what type of problems they have. If they have arguments and what has been said, and maybe I don't know.
But also, she's being very braggadocious already about it. And then it's not even her money. To even bring it up, this ain't got nothing to do with the situation about no money. You just got to tell somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why we, fuck?
Couldn't have. Their plans to pay off all of their bills, which had over the years been racking up. And she does this for one reason, to brag.
He gets his inheritance this afternoon. That's why we're moving. We're going to pay all our bills off that we need to pay off. His lawyer gets here today at 2 to sign the paperwork for his money.
Okay.
And then he's going to go pay that. And his lawyer going to pay the rest of his child support. And then take a long vacation.
According to Ina, Steve is set to receive an inheritance from his late uncle tomorrow, which supposedly is enough money to turn their lives around.
This the type of shit.
Do I got an uncle somewhere that wanna look?
You do got
I do have a.
but I don't know if he packing loaded like that.
Which one?
I'm talking about the old.
Well, I got a lot of uncles, but
But he ain't loaded. If he is
I'm
loaded,
talking about to be.
I ain't gonna lie, that one I'm talking about. If he did leave the money, you already know who he leaving it to.
Who?
Your sister.
Maybe so.
He'll leave it to her. If he had it like, yeah, he'll leave it to her. And that's the one he always calling on. Her and your cousin.
Who's my
The
cousin?
one that used to stay with him to keep an eye on him, check on him.
Them son of a guns.
Them two. More than his own kids.
My sister give me some.
But I'm saying,
I was just playing.
I feel like he's living more to them than his own kids.
No. I'm just playing.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just playing. But anyway, you got an uncle that...
This the type of shit you see in movies, bro.
You got an uncle that was worth that much money that left you 30... Like, what?
This type of stuff you only see in the movies.
But why would she do something to him?
Greed. She's bragging about it more than...
Well,
She tell him the whole rundown. This is somebody, like, literally.
She probably all over the neighborhood telling folks.
This is the reason why we always say a lot of people, you just can't give a lump sum of money to people who are not used to having shit because they have the mindset like her. That's the reason why somebody who is poor can't just get rich the next day. Because if so, they're going to be back poor tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like they don't understand the wealth. They don't understand because they never. They don't have that
mindset. Yeah, I'm just so like, what? Okay.
Evidence from his late uncle tomorrow, which supposedly is enough money to turn their lives around completely.
Hell yeah!
What police don't realize at this time is how enormous this inheritance sum really is. In 2016, Steve's friend had received a call from a man named Marcus Riley, who claimed to be Steve's long-lost uncle from Ireland. He had explained that he finally wanted to get in touch with his nephew, Steve. After connecting with each other, Steve had learned he was in line to receive an inheritance upon his uncle's passing, which was a sum of over $17 million at the time. This was enough to permanently fix the financial struggles he and Ina had been dealing with. Okay. A couple of years later, 4 months prior to the footage you just watched, Steve would learn of his uncle's passing from a British lawyer who had contacted him. Additionally, he would learn that his $17 million inheritance had grown to over $30 million due to his uncle's successful investments over the years. That's why Ina cannot hold herself from boasting to the police. Tomorrow, they plan to meet with their lawyer to officially sign the documents and claim the $30 million inheritance fund. The two plan to take the money and live with Steve's long-lost family in Ireland, quote, living in the castles. In less than 24 hours, Ina will be rich. So is up.
He was a redhead too, wasn't he, Steve?
I don't know.
Irish.
I don't know.
Ireland,
but
what?
You know what I'm saying?
Officers leave for the night. Ina would make one final statement about how her life was about to change forever.
If you want to step back inside, and then if Steve shows back up, we're going to try to look for him to get his side of the story as well. But if Steve shows back up, if you just want to give us a call or have him give us a call, we'll talk to him then, okay?
Yeah, he's going to stop by anyways, like I said.
Sounds good.
I've only been able to put like $5 on his fines, but at least it was something.
Okay,
but
sounds good.
We're going to pay it all off.
You know what it is? On this night, what if Steve and a neighbor got into it? Steve has an outstanding warrant. Because she said he got a lot of fines and stuff and and he might have got a warrant for child support or something. You really never know.
Yeah.
That's the reason why he got away from him. I'm just talking about from this altercation.
Yeah.
All at once.
Perfect. Thank you.
Steve would return to his and Ina's apartment that night, and the two would patiently wait, not being able to sleep, as they counted down the hours until they would receive their millions. The plan to receive the funds was simple. At 2 p.m., the group would go to the airport to meet their lawyer, who was flying in with their inheritance paperwork. Ina and Steve obliged and would arrive at the airport alongside their two friends, Billy and Wes, before patiently waiting.
What you bringing Billy and Wes for? Billy and Wes ain't got nothing to do with it.
Because they probably like we don't.
And Ina don't either.
They probably like we don't trust the situation. They're gonna be our security.
No, because Billy and Wes. Well, I ain't gonna put nothing on Billy and Wes. I don't know. They may be good friends.
But you never know.
But I'm just people be flying.
However, while they were waiting for the lawyer's arrival, Steve would become extremely sick. He would claim feeling drunk, even throwing up in the airport bathrooms. His heart rate was rapidly increasing, and his condition worsened to the point where Wes decided to take him home to help him treat his sickness. Ina would wait at the airport for the lawyer to arrive. However, he would never show up. And after a couple of hours with...
What if this was a scam the whole time?
Right? Because I was thinking, I was like, you got a long lost uncle from Ireland that just like so happened to want to cut. Did you ever speak with the uncle, or did you only talk to
the lawyer? And then we actually, at this time, we could have got on FaceTime. We could have got on something so we could see eye to eye.
Oh,
this kind of sounded like it was a little scamish at the same time.
This sound crazy.
And she was so greedy that we're finna jump it. But the lawyer never arrived.
With no lawyer, no money, and a sick fiancé, she would return home as well. Everyone believed that Steve had suffered from a heat stroke as a result of working on his truck for hours that morning. But Steve's symptoms were far more fatal than the heat strokes he had received in the past, even experiencing fatal signs of kidney failure throughout the night. And in the morning, Steve would become completely unresponsive, forcing Ina to call 911.
911,
What?
Your emergency?
My husband's really sick. He got heat stroke yesterday, and now he's not waking up. And
I wonder if they had got that paperwork and he actually died, right? I mean, he actually got signed off on it and everything and got everything set up. She probably had planned for him to be able to live throughout this day, got the paperwork set up so she can be on the money too. Then he would have croaked over and died the next day. She would have been able to flee with the money. I don't know.
come on, wake up!
What's the phone number you're calling from?
I don't have a phone number. It's a phone that never got finished getting set up. Come on, babe. I've been trying everything. Ice, water.
Okay, but he is breathing?
Yes. He's snoring. He won't talk to me anymore. He won't look at me. He won't open his eyes.
Okay,
Babe!
I've got help on the way. Just keep an eye on his breathing, and if anything changes with his breathing, tell me immediately.
Hello? Yeah. It's Officer Sullivan, Minot PD.
Inside the home, officers would find Steve fully unresponsive. They would drag him out of the house through piles of trash and filth. Quickly, he was rushed to the nearest hospital, but with his condition so poor, he would be flown to the St.
They said where we was. I'm dead serious.
I can't remember.
Alexis Hospital to undergo more professional treatment. After Steve was flown to the hospital, Ina would explain to the officers that Steve had gotten a heat stroke, which caused his illness. The officers had no reason not to believe her story, so they would comfort her throughout the day as Steve was being treated. Unfortunately, Steve would never again regain consciousness. This is Billy Burkhead, Steve and Ina's neighbor, and he was with Steve and Ina the entire day of his sudden sickness, even working on the truck with Steve and traveling with them to the airport. Billy simply refused to believe that Steve's death was caused by heat stroke, especially since Steve seemed perfectly fine all day until they reached the airport. Instead, Billy suspected something far more sinister and wanted to share his theory with the detectives. So, the day after Steve's death, Billy would call officers back to apartment 912A to detail his side of the story.
We think she poisoned him. Oh, I'm almost sure she poisoned him.
So what's your plan right now?
We're making sure nothing goes. Because you know when they go to jail, they die.
I mean,
People come and clean
how long are you going to stay here?
I'm going to stay here until the sun gets here.
Oh. When's the sun supposed to get here?
He's not dead. I told you.
Stop!
He's not.
He's dead.
I just told his son.
And he was poisoned.
Billy's explanation for Steve's death is,
Come on, Billy.
well, horrifying.
Everybody need a friend like Billy. I ain't leaving until the sun gets here. We can all go through the same shit. Yo, need a friend like that, though.
If Ina truly did poison Steve, then his symptoms would make sense, and would add up far more than the idea of him having a heat stroke. However, why would Ina want to poison her husband if they were about to live such a good life? Well, Billy seems to have the exact answer to that question.
The other day, she threw all his stuff out the yard.
From his house?
Yeah, and he come out and he was holding his head down. And then we're supposed to go up to the airport and meet this guy because he's supposed to get quite a bit of money. Come back, we had to help him out of the car, had to help him in the house. And everything was fine until he come home. And then the next morning, she's throwing all his stuff out. She was supposed to call the ambulance. She never called the ambulance.
Billy thinks that Ina was secretly planning to split with Steve after the inheritance was received, even going so far as to throw his belongings out of the house after they returned from the airport. Even worse is that Ina lied about getting...
No. I ain't know she threw all his stuff out after they came back from the airport. Yeah. I thought he was saying she threw it out like
at
they
some
got the
point,
arguing like the day before or so. I ain't know it literally.
But it's still just nothing makes sense. Like I'm just like, huh? But
now you mad because you didn't get the money?
I guess it's
Breathe, bro. And she was too braggadocious about that money.
That's
like
some money that ain't yours. They don't even know if it was actually
legit or not.
You know, yeah.
Help for Steve after they returned from the airport, pretending to take him to get treated when in reality, they never left the house. Unfortunately, Ina overheard all of this talk and decided to give Billy a piece of her own mind.
Girl, don't come over here with your purse.
I'm not worthy of telling my husband. Dead or alive.
Hey, stay
Bitch,
here.
you said
I need to take a
I'm
picture.
even married.
Picture what?
Guilty. Here, let's try it.
Huh?
Oh, you can sit over here.
Steve collapsed yesterday. Went to the hospital. I found out he was poisoned.
How'd you find that out?
Doctor told me. I'm just telling you, son, don't ever stop after these people. They're nasty people. They're nasty.
Ina coincidentally seemed to put the blame on the neighbors, calling them evil people. It's become more clear that Steve's death was far more sinister than officers had first expected. Officers now had a potential homicide case to investigate, but as they went to leave, one officer accidentally broke the news to Ina that her fiancé had passed away.
I thought everybody knew. I'm sorry.
Don't tell me anything. Oh my God!
I guess the son is on his way here. Okay. Apparently the son is on the way here. So.
Your son better put them on.
Yeah.
Ina's reaction to her
She
husband.
ain't crying.
My thing is, fact, that's one for sure.
But go.
Did she not expect him to die?
What did you wanted him to just fall ill and be able and have to depend on you and not be able to really do anything, and you was just
like
going to be
said
doing
earlier? Did you think he was going to straight up just leave you after he get all this money?
And he was like, I have to find a way to keep, like, I don't know. People crazy. I don't know the things people do for money.
Facts.
Husband's passing is one of the strangest I've ever seen. She starts bawling her eyes out, then suddenly jumps right back to her normal self, as if she hadn't even heard the terrible news to begin with. It's becoming more and more clear that something is not adding up. Billy was not the only person to initially put the blame on Ina. In fact, he was only one of many who would come forward with their concerns. In fact, Billy's wife, Lynn, had stated that Ina had made horrifying statements in the past, alluding that if she was to ever kill her partner, she would poison him using an antifreeze. To add to the pile of already incriminating information, Steve would be tested for ethylene glycol in his bloodstream, a key ingredient in antifreeze. To nobody's surprise, the results showed toxic levels of ethylene glycol in his system. This information would serve as the catalyst for initiating a formal homicide investigation into the death of Steve Riley. Following the
Is that him?
Mm-hmm.
The other picture, they don't look like him. I thought he was way more slimmer than that. Because the other picture they keep showing, Let's see, where?
It's probably old pictures.
Like that? They don't look like that, man. He look way more slimmer. Like even right here. Or it might be the weed. It might be the weed that's throwing me.
Initiating a formal homicide investigation into the death of Steve Riley. Following the commencement of the investigation, a series of intensive interrogations would be conducted with all parties connected to the incident, including Ina, to ultimately solve Steve's murder. However, before that, Ina would launch a plan of her own.
What?
It must have been made apparent to her that she was in hot water, as the day after this encounter with the police, she would call them back to apartment 912A to explain theories of her own.
Hi.
Yeah. He came up.
Okay, what's going on?
I don't know.
We've been here.
He keeps trying to take Steve's truck
Where's the truck at?
in the garage.
Is this the paperwork on the thing? Or?
No. This is property that Steve was buying after his inheritance got here. I think he left it to his son, but I had to Google where to go to get his inheritance switched over to the people he left it to.
So the people he left it to, who? You?
Because that's what she's trying to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
She's trying to figure... And this inheritance thing might not even be real. It really might not even be a legit inheritance. She really, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, the day.
Why are you looking so much into the... If your husband just passed, why the hell are we looking so much into the inheritance? Instead of looking into properly getting him buried, properly wanting answers to how he... But the one thing we Googling is the inheritance.
What they actually...
Oh, they're not married.
Well, one day she said fiance, but then she said husband. So I guess they probably been together so long. They just, you know how some people...
Like, you know, like... It used to be a thing called common law marriage after you
I know what common law marriage is.
I'm saying everybody might not know about it. I think mainly common law marriage people be down south, you know. Don't want to get married, we be together 20 years, girl.
Yeah.
And then I ain't finna sign no paper. That's just man, sign no paper. You been with this woman 20 years. Be with that woman, man. Hell, she deal with all your other bullshit. You think she gonna leave just because she signed some paperwork? Man, she gonna take everything I got. Technically, legally, half of hers anyway. But
see, and thinking like that, that's how she think. That's the problem, though, and that's the problem. That's where it becomes a little rocky.
That is true though. That is true to a degree. But it's still screams red flags. I had to Google what because she's still bragging about this inheritance.
I don't know. The day he was supposed to meet his lawyer, apparently, I thought it was heat stroke. Apparently he was poisoned. I'm finding out. With antifreeze.
Alright.
And I don't know how to get a hold of the guy in London with his inheritance. He should be here in town. He never showed up at the airport. Trying to figure out why.
Ina seems to conspire to the idea that Steve may have drank the antifreeze himself, or that someone may have poisoned him. However, despite all the suspicion being thrown her way, she can only stay on track for minutes before going back on tangents about her inheritance fund. It was clear at this point that somebody had poisoned Steve. The idea of this being self-inflicted was unlikely, as Steve had a life-changing amount of money waiting for him, and would have had to drink the antifreeze just hours before going to claim the cash. Clearly, Ina can be made out as the lead suspect due to the amount of fingers being pointed her way, but the other potential suspects should not be ruled out either. With this in mind, officers would bring their first suspect in for questioning, Rebecca. Rebecca was another neighbor of Ina and Steve's, who was very involved with the entire case so far, pitching her opinion to police whenever she could. Rebecca was brought in primarily to add to the pile of evidence to confront Ina with later. But as the interview would continue, strange red flags would arise from Rebecca's odd personality.
You guys know my daughter?
Kayla? Yeah, how's she doing?
Yesterday, God works in mysterious ways. She was arrested, released. She said this is the demons that are in her, the spirits that follow her, was able to change her butt cheeks. So maybe they'll stop following her now, she said.
Yeah, well, hopefully she gets the help she needs.
I pray she does.
Starting off a homicide interview explaining how demons left your daughter's butt is an interesting way of proving your innocence. But the detective isn't here to judge, rather to get to the bottom of Steve's death.
Right.
So he'll ignore these strange remarks.
Yeah.
Might know some things.
I'm a nosy neighbor.
It's good. I like it.
Well, I know what cars belong, what cars don't. Who lives in my neighborhood, who doesn't. And yes.
That's good. We're investigating Steve's passing just because it sounds like maybe there's something suspicious about what happened.
Whatever I know.
How long have Steve and Ina lived there that you know of?
Approximately 2 years.
Okay. How is their relationship that you know?
The first year was, Steve was looking great, doing great. The past year, I don't know if she suffers from mental illness at times, but her mental state went downhill the past year.
Okay.
When you lose weight, when you're not acting right, shady stuff going on, you're not working. Yes, he was.
Okay.
Oh yeah, she a nosy neighbor. Even paying attention to weight loss. Yeah, that's one of them neighbors that be on the neighborhood watch. Yeah, I see everything.
But worse.
No, it's not.
The past couple months.
Okay.
It seems as though Steve's life wasn't as straightforward as initially thought, having drug issues, weight loss, and possibly depression. Whether or not Ina was a large contributor to these deteriorating issues is something they will soon learn, as this interview would become a pivotal piece of evidence, laying the groundwork to dismantle her defense entirely during the interrogation.
And it got worse the past couple months.
You think likely that theme,
probably,
like, whatever. Okay.
Yes.
What do you think she was using?
Yeah.
Okay.
And alcohol use too.
Okay.
Yes.
Both of them with
Yes.
alcohol? Okay. So Steve had mentioned before, like in the past, about getting money.
Yes.
How many, like?
$2 million.
The amount Steve had planned to receive was something he kept very secret, often lying to people like Rebecca on how much he was actually getting. As we'll soon find out, this number was much, much larger than $2 million.
One of his
His uncle passed away. Yes. First, he said he was going to leave it to Ina, and then they were fighting. And a couple months later, he said he went back and changed the will. He told me, he was like, don't tell Ina, but I changed it.
And you told
This
her.
statement from Rebecca would explain what Ina was talking about.
And they ain't married, and you got a will that you leaving everything to your wife?
And you got a son?
This son looks grown, and he said he still got child support. So are you behind on child support you still got to pay? Or do you have other kids? Because I was like, he possibly got more than one child.
Yeah.
I know the son he looks like he's grown, but he possibly has other kids.
Oh, man.
You gonna leave all of it to her?
Why?
Man, stop it, bro. Stop it. Your kid, yeah, you leave some to her, but not everything to her. You got your kids. You got other family members. You see your uncle leaving everything.
But I don't necessarily, like, we still together. Why am I leaving? I'm just a little confused.
Well, I got a will already.
No, not that. It's just, I'm like, okay, I guess, okay, if something was to happen to him after, because that's a lot of money, you know, to be spending, like, within a couple years. That's a lot of money if you know how to manage it, because some people can blow through, like, money that you feel like should last a while. So I guess he was like, if something was to happen, then it'll be left to her. And so she was like, well, let me speed this process up so that I can get this money all to myself.
Agreed.
Last time she spoke to police, and how she was trying to switch the will over from Steve's son to herself. If Ina discovered his plan, it would have given her a strong incentive to do whatever it took to change the will back in her favor, possibly by any means necessary.
Because it started 5 months and he told me, yeah, I got a will, I'm leaving everything to Ina if something happens. And then it seemed like 2 months after that, he's like, that ain't getting nothing. Because she's a bitch, he said.
So that was just a...
Yeah, that's how yeah.
Was he ever talking about...
So they normally
leaving
talk,
Ina?
huh?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, I'm going to get this money and leave her, get my own place, go back to California. I met her son last night.
Oh, okay. Her son came?
No, I'm sorry, his son. Steve's son.
Yeah.
Well,
that's okay.
He flew in. He came up to my apartment. But as he's leaving, she came up, knocked on my door.
When he was up there?
Yeah,
okay.
to get him. I think she was nervous. It was like she was pissed he was up there. And then she's like, I just want to let you know I found the will papers.
So she said in front of you that she found will papers?
Yes. Yep.
Oh.
So she found his papers and found that her name was not on them, and it was Steve.
Remember, she said I was Googling trying to see how. Basically, she was Googling to see how
to get it switched.
Yes.
Because she thought it was in her name this entire time. But he switched it without her knowing because he had told her that I would leave everything to you, and she thinking that it's still like that.
That's why.
But he switched it and put it in his son's name, which is the right thing to do. I mean, especially if you and your son has a close relationship. Like, girl, what? And you done took this man's life for what? Like, the money was like his anyway. Y'all together. I mean, you would have shared the, benefits of it as well, with paying off bills and getting on y'all feet.
But she wanted the whole thing herself.
Yes, I disagree.
But like I said earlier, because that's why I said earlier, if he had everything already set up, and like something basically in his will, whatever was to come to him, will automatically go to her or whoever his beneficiary is.
Right.
Ina clearly had become obsessed with the idea that she was about to live the life of her dreams with Steve's inheritance. But after rumors of Steve leaving her...
Also, you gotta remember, Steve was trying to go back to California. She trying to go to Ireland. She trying to leave. To flee the country. To go live in the castles.
Her dreams with Steve's inheritance. But after rumors of Steve leaving her, it seems Ina became terrified that she might not receive the funds and would be stuck with her depressive living conditions. It's now become obvious how these events and Steve's strange death could be correlated to one another. However, as Rebecca had stated herself, she was a nosy neighbor, looking for any rumors or conspiracy theories to help solve the neighborhood drama. I've also cut out over 40 minutes of completely false information Rebecca gave to detectives, which certainly doesn't add to her authenticity. In order to further confirm the accuracy of these claims, 2 more reliable sources would be brought in the following day: Steve's son Ryan and Billy Burkhead. If anyone would be able to give proper insight into Steve's life, it would be these 2, as they were by far the closest people to Steve.
We're assigned the case of your dad's passing. You're really the only next of kin that maybe had a relationship with your dad, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did he ever talk to you about Ina when you guys talked to him last year?
Yeah. He was talking about how he was getting a large sum of money and he kind of just wanted to leave her because she didn't really have a job and was like leeching off of him.
Did Steve ever talk about leaving Ina?
All the time.
Okay.
Every day. She talked about poisoning Steve and me because we're always together and she didn't like that. And I don't know how much it was. It's supposed to be, it's way up there in the money. It was like 20-something million. Best thing you can do is get on a plane and don't look back.
Yeah.
I said, that's the best thing you can do.
Almost every piece of information the detectives receive leads straight to Ina as the killer. It also makes sense why Ina hated Billy and Steve's son so much, as they knew far more information than she would have liked about the inheritance and her schemes to obtain it. These interviews wouldn't last long, as detectives got all the information they needed from the 2 and could directly confront Ina with it. But before leaving, they would break disturbing news to Ryan, which would make this case even more of a terrible tragedy.
So this inheritance now, I'm thinking that's the same thing we're thinking. Which, I mean, I know.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know for sure, but by all accounts of looking at it, it looks like it's a scam. Looks like it's a I mean, the letter has different fonts in it and things, and the fact that your dad had gone there several times to meet with some lawyer, never showed up to the airport.
That and all the emails that they tried to send back to the sender of those emails, it always came back undeliverable.
The inheritance was a scam. Steve had lived for the past 7 years under the impression that if he just patiently waited, living through his terrible living conditions, he would come out with more money than he could dream of and finally enjoy life. Even worse was that this very scam that stagnated his life for years may have been the cause of his very own death.
For what, bro?
Bro, because people be so greedy, bro.
For what, man?
It gave all the signs of a... Because I was, even in the beginning, looking at the conditions they lived in, I was like, who you know that got $37 million that can just give you? And all of a sudden, you got this magical uncle. But they do like to prey on those that are less fortunate. Yeah. And those who don't have a lot of, you know what I'm saying, unfortunately, education behind them to really understand, to see through scams. Like, my mom even be texting me, like, I'm like, and they like to prey on older people, too. Yeah. That also people who are not tech savvy. Because y'all not even paying attention to them. Our emails ain't even going through to what, you know what I'm saying? So. And
then I'm pretty sure you done sent them, like, so much information.
Facts.
Because everything is being done, you know, electronically. So
they probably know your bank account, your
everything, social, birth, date of birth, like just so much like
and they've
vital
been doing
information.
And like I told you, like I said the other day in one video, who are the 9 times out of 10 the people who never pay attention and keeping up with their credit to see if anything has been reported, or even people taking out loans on your credit and stuff, are people who are, like, unfortunately, less fortunate.
Yeah.
Like 9 times out of 10, they ain't keeping up with what's on their credit report. They have so much debt already.
Yeah, sadly.
So somebody is scamming y'all. 9 times out of 10, they been got your social security number.
Yeah.
They open up and they gotta just keep stringing you along.
Yeah, that's so sad that he done lost his life to something that never existed.
All because her dumb ass.
With such a pity of a case, detectives would go on to interview a handful of other suspects in order to get as much information as they possibly could to help break down Ina's defense. And after multiple days of interviews, the day finally came to confront Ina with everything they've gathered. But despite all this evidence against her, officers knew they would have a hard time prosecuting Ina without a confession or incriminating statements. And that's exactly what they were determined to get. Inside this cut-down 1.5-hour interview, you'll see some of the most clever interrogation tactics I've ever shown on this channel. Okay. Slowly dismantling Ina's story until all she has left is an incoherent string of lies.
So, like I said, we have been just talking to everyone, like Billy, Russ, everybody that kind of just knew Steve, just to get an idea of like what was going on in his life. So, you and Steve were in a relationship.
Yep.
Okay, how long had you guys been together?
13 years.
Okay. Where did you guys meet?
Homeless shelter.
In
buffet dinner.
In North Dakota?
Washington.
In Washington, okay.
The detectives would go on to get more information about Ina and Steve's early relationship, but it wouldn't last long before Ina would start conspiring against Billy and others she wanted to paint as suspects.
And I begged him to, stay away from... We've even gotten into fights.
To stay away from Lynn?
Billy and Lynn.
Okay.
I don't like calling people nasty. And they've seen them worse than Steve because he's tall and mean looking. People were intimidated by him.
Okay.
Just by his look.
So why would you want him to stay away from Billy and Lynn?
Because they're really, really nasty people.
Okay.
Felonies. Breaking into places.
Okay.
I knew they did more than pot. Smoking more than pot.
Did Steve smoke more than marijuana?
No, he's allergic to marijuana.
Okay.
Me.
Did he use other drugs?
Not for the longest time.
Was he using?
No.
Okay. So
no.
He didn't.
After that, after he got the max the last time.
Yep.
He's like, screw this.
Okay.
I'm gonna just do what I want and want what I want.
Okay. So that's when he started using?
I think so.
Okay.
This would be the first of Ina's lies during this interrogation. She knew Steve had been using long before the incident she described, but in order to make Billy seem like the villain in their lives, she wanted to make it seem as though he was the reason for Steve's drug use. Take note of Ina's body language while she clearly lies. She glances up and avoids eye contact, constantly fidgets and scratches her skin, and most notably, stutters and slurs on her speech as she tries to make up a story. Keep this in mind for the rest of the interrogation, and you'll be able to accurately point out when Ina isn't telling the truth. But now, the police would ask her perhaps the most intriguing question. What exactly did she plan to do with the inheritance money?
So when did he find out about this inheritance?
I want to say 4 months ago.
Okay. So what is the inheritance? I know you had shown that first day Lieutenant Dake and I came, you showed us kind of that letter that was on Steve's phone. Is that's the inheritance? That was the letter? Okay.
And he was talking to an actual lawyer, I guess.
Okay.
From London.
So this lawyer reached out to him and said he's...
I guess. I don't even know how he found out about it. It just appeared. And he was reading that the money wasn't cursed or whatever. Every single person that went for the Riley money over there, even this 21-year-old, had passed away.
Clearly, Ina is running out of resources to take suspicion off herself, and the detectives won't take long before making her abundantly aware of how horrible of a liar she is. But for now, they'd like to get some more information on this inheritance, and if Ina would admit to trying to claim it all for herself.
How much money was it?
It was supposed to be $17 million. $17,500,000. So, but with all the property sold off, it ended up being $37 million.
So there was cash and then properties were sold.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I gave all the information.
Who was it supposed to be coming from? Who was the family member?
Marcus something Riley.
Was that a brother or
uncle?
That was an uncle. Okay. Did he live
in Ireland?
Okay. How did it get to? Is it starting to be that the lawyer is starting to give him like a time that he's coming to Minot?
Yeah. That's pretty much when he kept saying, "I'm going to show up at this time." And Steve would ride down there, and he wasn't there. And then he'd get the email afterwards that he was going to come until later and then later.
Okay.
The detectives would spend the next 25 minutes trying to understand Ina's timeline for the day they planned to receive the inheritance. Whenever she gave a time for when the group went to the airport, she would conveniently change that time entirely, just a few minutes later. But one detail would stay the same. Unlike her original claims to officers on the day of the murder, she would insist that Steve had never gone to the airport, but rather Wes had gone instead to represent Steve. This was confusing, but Ina's reason as to why Steve couldn't make it to the airport would make just as little sense.
Because he was drinking beer all day, he was working in the garage, he was spray painting his truck, with the doors and the windows closed. Barely drinking any water.
So he consumed almost a case of beer and...
Oh, he can drink more than that.
Pay attention to Ina here. She's carefully crafting a story to deflect suspicion, but the detectives came prepared.
I've seen him drink a couple cases.
But on that day...
Yeah, it was a case of beer.
From probably 6 or 7 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon, so 5 to 6 hours. Does that sound right?
Probably.
Okay. Did you drink anything else?
Just a glass of water and his tea. I made iced tea because he begged for iced tea.
Steve had no traces of alcohol in his system the day of his death, proven by a blood test and toxicology. So detectives know, clearly, Ina is lying through her teeth.
So I just have a lot of concerns here, okay, and I'm just going to be honest with you. You told the paramedics when they were there that morning or afternoon that he had been drinking till 5 in the morning, that he had been consuming alcohol. That's on body cam. Okay, you said he was drinking all day the day before and that he drank his last drink at 5 a.m. Okay, and now you're telling me
tea.
That's not what you say
Girl.
on the video. Okay.
I want to see this video.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to show you the body cam. I'm just telling you that that's what's on there. There's reports that Wes came to the house that morning, and you said that Steve was at the walk-in clinic. He wasn't at the walk-in clinic.
Steve didn't want to see Wes anymore.
Okay, but Steve wasn't at the walk-in clinic.
He was at the hospital.
He wasn't at the hospital.
He just left with the ambulance when Wes showed up there.
That's not what's been reported to us. Wes was there prior to.
Yeah, the timestamps prove that.
I want a lawyer.
She's so slow.
Okay, that's fine.
Realizing she's running out of options to defend herself, and with the detectives closing in, Ina resorts to something surprisingly clever as a last-ditch effort, asking for a lawyer.
Am I being arrested?
Nope, you're not being arrested. We're just talking. So, but if you want a lawyer, we can stop talking right now. That's fine.
But I'm telling you the God honest truth. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I wish I was there. I wish I was with him every second of the day that day. I wish I watched every single. But I'm not his goddamn mom.
You asked for a lawyer, so we're just going to end this now. Okay, I'm not going to talk anymore. All right?
You guys are so unbelievable. Fucking weird.
The second Ina realized the detectives saw right through her story, she folded under the pressure and insisted on a lawyer. Ina had finally realized her game was over. Following this interrogation, Ina would roam free while detectives scrambled for concrete evidence that she had poisoned Steve. Ina would continue fighting for her innocence, making more deranged theories, such as Steve drinking the antifreeze out of shame that the lawyer was a fraud, or that she had too been poisoned just months prior. Unfortunately for her, police managed to file a search warrant on apartment 912A, finding multiple alarming items. An old Windex bottle without a cap, containing a bright green liquid suspected to be antifreeze, as well as a Coors Light bottle containing antifreeze, found in the garage Steve had been working in that morning. This exact Coors Light bottle was what Ina used to poison Steve with. Antifreeze contains ethylene glycol, an ingredient that makes the liquid taste sweet. By mixing this with tea, Steve was fully unable to tell this fatal substance apart from his typical morning tea. Additionally, by hiding the liquids in the dark Coors Light bottle, Steve was unable to see the bright green color of this drink. With all of this newfound, completely incriminating evidence, as well as the numerous lies and false claims Ina had told law enforcement, she would finally be arrested on October 30th, 2024.
When did it happen initially?
I didn't write it down. I normally write it down. I didn't write it down this time.
So she got charged in 2024 though. Literally last October. That's crazy. I feel like it's been a minute.
Please lock up my house.
Yeah, we'll lock up the house for you.
I'll give you the keys, but
We'll lock your house up for you.
Girl, you been coming back?
So right.
Oh, the dogs.
If we let you smoke a cigarette, you're gonna be decent?
well, I'm decent all the time.
No, I never dealt with you, so just don't
Never been arrested before like this.
Like this.
I've never done anything. I haven't done anything. It seems like I'm an easy scapegoat. Because all I am is an easy scapegoat. That's all I've ever been. If I was going to kill him, I would have killed him the day he lied to me and I found out he was doing drugs.
Yeah, just gonna grab you so you don't fall, alright?
And I would have done it physically, not.
Girl, no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't
Girl,
because you still thought because you was too braggadocious about that money.
When she said that she had made some sweet tea and water, something about some water and some sweet tea or something, I said she put it in that sweet tea. That's what I said to myself.
I ain't know, which I would not know that it had a sweetness to it.
I mean, I wouldn't know either. I never drank
That's so
any.
weird.
But I guess if you know like certain chemicals and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but then still, how would someone? Anyway,
The average person should not know that.
but yeah. Yeah, when she said something about the switch, I said,
But
I
she
bet you
talking
she
about
put it
something.
in
I
that
would have
switch.
killed him if I was
Physically.
gonna kill him. I would have killed him physically.
I
That way he lied
have
to me
even
about
done
being
it.
on drugs.
Girl, what?
No, you had to make sure you got the money too.
It make no sense.
Because you knew he was
and at
coming
the end
into
of the
that
day,
money.
there was no money. There was nothing. It was a scam, and this man is gone for what? And now you
scam.
locked up.
You broke in jail.
Still.
He dead, gone. Nobody came up on nothing.
Nothing.
And his kids without a father. And who knows, did he even have a life insurance? Probably did because he thought he was going to have that 37 mil.
Facts.
Physically.
Yeah, I'm a physical woman, not a...
Nobody out here to watch the dogs? Just you? No friends or anything?
Only one here.
You have any friends at work that would take them? We just don't want them to die in there, right?
Why? How long are you holding me?
We don't know. So we'll have our officers grab the dogs. We'll put a hold on them, all right?
Man, let them,
Please get the
let
dog.
them dogs go to a nice, clean home because they probably
Yeah,
got
I'm like,
fleas, ticks.
Please get the dogs to
the house
somebody
a
that's going to
mess.
take care of them.
Probably smell like cigarettes and everything.
6 months following Ina's arrest, she would sit down in the courtroom for one final time, accepting a plea deal for the murder of Steve Riley. It had been a matter of principle for Ina throughout this entire investigation, staying true to her word no matter how delusional it sounded. But in this courtroom, Ina was left with no choice but to finally confess. Ina Thea Knoyer was charged with murder, intentional, knowing, or with extreme indifference of an adult victim. She was sentenced to life in prison.
Good.
Her first chance at probation will come in 2050.
Damn! Oh, yeah, she ain't never getting out. She already old. What's that, 25 years from now? Yeah, she good. She cool. Over what?
Well, what was the... Oh, never mind.
Over what?
Nothing. But yeah, over what? Like... Oh, gosh. People are so dumb. So stupid.
Beyond.
All for $1. That didn't belong to you in the first place.
Didn't belong to you.
Didn't belong to anyone actually, but since you thought it did, it wasn't yours in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
And no one gained anything.
And no one gained anything.
Damn. It would have been nice if the inheritance was real, so at least his son can get something from him. But anybody with a blind eye could have saw that wasn't.
Yeah, that's sad. Rest in peace to Steve, because that's...
Rest in peace to Steve, man. Hey, man, y'all spam us up in the comments. Y'all let us know y'all thoughts about it for us in the comment section down below. But until next time, y'all know how it go, man. I do go by the name DJ New Kid. This is
Sierra Nicole.
We are.
Kid and C.
We out.
Peace.
Time to kick it, got a stack of flip for my folks. Dollar.